Formbird Fleet runs the show. Keys are tracked, the fuel's in check. Fleet runs smooth, no lost specs.
So, welcome to another Formbird Fleet Meetup. This one is for Overdue, as you know, and today this is an Adam topic. So it's about a real-time snapshot of your fleet. So, what is happening with your fleet at this moment? That's what we're going to talk about. Okay, so as well as that, we've got the news from Mark, and he's going to do that. And what else? So we don't forget that these are recorded. As you can see, we're recording now, and there's always a timestamp in the descriptions below. So just if you want to jump ahead, you can jump ahead, get rid of all this rubbish. Now, also, I want to maybe sometime at the end of this meetup, if anyone's got any topics they'd like to talk about for the following meetup, make sure you join in when I say, hey, so think between now and then if you've got any topics. So we can actually sort of push it forward, because there's always the best ideas in Formbird come from our users. That's actually the truth. I'm sorry, mate. He's not smiling. No, didn't think that was good. All right. So also now I just want to say this because it's been a special request by Ian, that I do mention that we are in fact now an improved supplier on 2 state vendor panels for fleet information management systems. So under the categories of telematics and GPS. And so, and pool car booking, and the key watcher system. So the previous episode we talked about the key watcher system and how you can book your keys and all that sort of stuff. It's just on Formbird, and out pops the key, and Adam demonstrated that. So if you want to watch a previous episode about that, that's worth checking out too. So if you're in Northern Territory, Queensland or Tasmania, you use local buy, and if you're in...
No.
That's correct, local buy?
Sorry, that's correct, Paul.
Local, and if you're in local government procurement, which is always abbreviated to LGP if you're in New South Wales. So without further ado, that has been my introduction. So now I'm going to ask Mark, and I will mute myself, and I'll ask Mark if he's got any news, which we've already prearranged it. He would have some news. So off you go, Mark.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. I suppose there's a little bit of news. Adam's working on our first New Zealand customer, which is very nice. Palmerston North. Anyone who knows Palmerston, they've got the Palmy. They're actually known as Palmy, which is very convenient for us Australians. Nice short name with a Y at the end. So Palmy we have, and Palmerston North is kicking off the project as we speak. I think they want to go live as July, Adam, I think it is.
Yeah, I think the end of July, but don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm. The other bit of news is Chris and a couple of customers are now fully implementing the integration of the Key Watcher. So it's gone beyond demonstration and actually in operation. So it's getting nicely tested out and stressed at this point in time. So that's also very good. I believe it's actually pretty well.
There's a few more people in pipeline for the Key Watcher, aren't there?
Mute.
Sorry, you do that. I was just going to say there's a few more people in the pipeline for Key Watcher.
Most certainly. Yeah, there's the number of customers are now going through the process of, I suppose, getting quotes and actually purchasing Key Watcher cabinets, getting approval and getting that in the pipeline. So yeah, it's starting to actually
Yeah.
get a bit of momentum.
Cool.
Yeah, just to chime in there.
Okay, well,
Shepparton go live with the booking system. So they actually went live with the booking system in two parts. Firstly, they did their depot site and their depot key cabinet, and then they went live with their main office site key cabinet just a couple of weeks ago. And that's worked really well, doing it in two stages. It's allowed them to really manage the process well of switching over to Formbird as a booking system. And then also it's allowed us to get lots of really good feedback from them and incorporate that feedback as well.
cool. So it's moving. It's not only spreading; it's getting better all the time. All right. Well, if there's anything else that anyone has on their mind, let me know. But I think probably we should go to the main event, which is to hear all about getting a snapshot of your fleet. I'm having trouble saying that at the moment, but so I think this has always been one of the great Formbird fleet advantages, is its ability to interact with fleet information in real time, and this is where we can leverage it. And this is about what's actually where actually is your fleet at this point in time. What is the actual status, and so actually knowing what's going on the ground is the aim. And so, Adam, you're going to run us through some scenarios, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take you through the report, what it's for, basically, what questions it's answering. We did actually cover this topic previously. I think it was maybe the October meeting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. But we didn't catch the recording, so we thought we'd do it again, basically, and go through it and catch the recording this time.
I do believe, to be correct, we actually tightened up the naming.
Oh, that's good.
Or something like that. Okay, Adam, off you go.
All right. Can you see my screen there?
I am seeing a screen.
Perfect. Great. Thank you for that. So the fleet overview report actually came about as a suggestion for a council that we were demoing to. So we incorporated it into the application. We saw it was a good idea. As I was preparing for this demonstration today, I actually came across these pop-up notifications that we've got. So I thought it was a good opportunity to highlight that within the notification system within Formbird, there's quite a high level of configurability. So you can, on an account-by-account basis, so Eleanor, if you want a certain notification and Marie doesn't, you can configure that within your notifications on your account. And they're a mixture of email and or these pop-up notifications. So while you're in the application, if someone creates a new daily driver, it pops up with a little notification here. And you can see here that it's a link as well. So it enables you to go directly to that document as soon as it comes in. Of course, that's available via email as well, so you could decide to get it via email instead, or as well if you wanted. And same kind of deal, it comes through with a link directly to that request that's being created. So the fleet overview report is really about getting a snapshot of your fleet as it stands at the moment, and that's across your actual fleet assets, but as well as all of your workshops and the associated processes. I'm really trying to give a highlight of safety related items in particular. So I'll go through a little bit of that. So you can see here, I'm just going to move this off my screen. All right, so you can see here, this section here is about recent activity in the last 7 days. You can see the recent totals, so you can see what's been created, what requests have been created, what's been completed in the last 7 days. You've got your work orders created, and again, what's been completed, your total of the daily drivers that have been completed, and also your any safety tags that have been created. So you can see there we've had one vehicle tagged out in the last week. This next one here is daily drivers. So this shows you all of the completed daily drivers, so any that have been submitted, as well as those that have faults reported. So you can see here that we've got 6 have been completed, and we've got 3 that have reported faults in that last 7 days. So with these, you can actually, some of these graphs are actually quite interactive. So you can actually click on the graph or select the graph, and it gives you a little table here of what's actually making up the data in the graph. So that allows you to dive right into the asset, or you can see here there's a link to the individual daily drivers that have been created for these assets this week, basically. So if you wanted to, you could dive right into this one and see all the details of it. So you can see who reported it, you can see what passed and what failed, and you can see the priority that it's been given as well. So you can dive right into the depth of what is making up these graphs. So these next 2 is around risk assessment. So these are individual risk items that have been created in the last 7 days. And this is the value of, or their assessed risk before mitigation on this one. And then this is the assessed risk of that item after mitigation on this one. Again, we can dive into this and see what's actually making it up. So we can see which work orders these items were related to, and actually dive into these to see what is in there. So this is an individual risk item within that risk assessment work order. You can see the rating that it was given beforehand, and also the rating that it was given afterwards. Changing these ratings is just a matter of selecting the right box on the table to give it that rating. I'm taking the opportunity of going through this fleet overview report to really dive into a little bit of the functionality that people might have forgotten about in the application, or haven't got around to implementing yet. So you can see this is a risk assessment work order, and you can see each of the risk items within the risk assessment work order. If anyone has any questions at any point or wants to derail us onto us to dive into a particular topic, feel free to jump in. So to see how this data is actually categorized or captured in this report, you can see that each of these little boxes we have here have a handy little help button. So you can click on that help button, and it gives you information about what's included in this. So you can see it's the risk items before and after mitigation within the last 7 days, and that's defined as it was created greater than now minus 7 days. And then the data is categorized by the result of the risk assessment on the item. So here we've got the requests by
Just one question. Sorry, Adam.
Go for it.
Alan, would you like to either turn your mic on or type the question into the chat?
About how you get alerts, like, you know, how you're just saying about daily driver checks.
Yep.
Can you do it for due services, like if a vehicle's overdue or it's about to be due soon? So then just say I get an alert, so then I can like get in contact with the driver or the operator?
Yeah, certainly. So that's a little bit complicated because there's a few different like layers to the service. So you've got like the individual service, and then you've got a service request. So generally, the way that the system works is that the service request kind of gets created automatically, ideally, particularly once you were working off telematics data to get your ODO and engine hours to trigger those service request creations. That can really automate that whole process and mean that the operators can see that they have a service request waiting for them, basically, or waiting action. We haven't included services in here at the moment, but we certainly do have the asset services due report that allows you to do that. On the account, we do have notifications available. So within the notifications here, you can see there's quite a few different notification types. So these are all the ones that I have turned on for my account at the moment. So you can do things like get emails about asset bookings that I've made, confirmation emails about asset bookings, information about assets being tagged out due to like a safety issue. And you can also add new notification types on your account. It doesn't look like we have one here for services unless I've missed it. But what we do have is
I think it's a system generated request.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that would be when we have automatic generation of service requests turned on. So the system will automatically, on a nightly basis, check the asset and see whether it's actually due for generation of any of its services. So that's by date, and potentially, if it's configured, optionally, the primary meter, or odometer or engine hours, and secondary meter and fuel as well. So if with the automatic generation of service requests turned on, this request will automatically get generated. Well, sorry, not this request. The service request for that asset will automatically get generated. And if you're subscribed to this system generated request notification, then you'll get notified about each of those service requests which has been generated at the time that it's generated. So that could initiate that workflow around chasing the person down to actually bring the car in for its service.
There's another outstanding item. Sorry, Adam, there's another outstanding item from, I think, Cardinia, who want a little bit more information on the operator's menu about servicing, and so that's in the pipeline as well.
Yeah, so if we go into the operator menu, you can see that we've started introducing information about scheduled services and unscheduled services being due within the operator menu. Do these rely on the expected start date, like the scheduling of the service request? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I think it's working off the generated request.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not off the service details document. So
yeah,
if the request isn't generated, I don't think it appears there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That correlates with what we're seeing here. So we can see that there's a repair request due for this asset 2496, and you can see its expected start date. So in terms of presenting this information to operators at the moment, it's dependent on the request being generated. So in the context of your question, Eleanor, that'd be a service request being generated and it having an expected start. That means that we can kind of tell people when it's due for its service. They also have access to requests across the fleet as well. So we're really trying to provide, really trying to provide information to the fingertips of the people who need it. So they can see information about what repair requests are due, what pre-starts that they might have reported where they're up to, basically, those requests. And you can see here that they can also see, once the request is generated, operators can actually log in and see that there is in this case, a pending service request for this Ford Ranger in the system. Does that answer your question, Eleanor?
the thing is that a lot of our vehicles, the drivers, they're from like our head office, so they don't use Formbird. So they will book in the vehicle with myself, and every couple of months I do a report on overdue services, and then I get in contact with them, and I'll say, yeah, you're overdue by how many kilometers, bring in your vehicle. So I was hoping that there was a sort of like a reminder, an alert that instead of me running a report, it would just come up, on the screen just saying fleet number blah 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 is overdue or about to be due. So then I'd contact the operator at the office and let them know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
that's what I was like more querying about, if there's something like that, a function like that.
Yeah, I think we did run into a lot of issues early on with the early implementations around automatically generating services, and that includes sending out notifications, where we were dealing with a lot of, and this is probably still an issue across a lot of sites, dealing with unreliable odometer and engine hour information, and basically that's the source, and for you guys as well at the moment, the source is very much fuel card transactions, and we all know how prone they are to issues. Obviously, we can also gather it on pre-starts, but again, that's still someone entering a value and they can do it wrong, basically. So we put a lot of work into making all that error checking much more reliable and easy to use, to try and get that source data right, because that's what we need to use to say whether a service is due or not. The danger of this automatic service request generation, but also the notifications from that is if the asset's being updated with the wrong number, basically, and it's a lot bigger, then you can end up with a lot of service requests and a lot of notifications. So that's like the flip side of it. We do have this asset services due report, which you can use to see what services are coming up. Are you using this at the moment, Eleanor?
Yeah, that's what I'm using, and I only do it for vehicles, because with the garbage trucks and just say tractors, I don't, because like you said, sometimes I put in hour reading instead of odometer reading, so I just worry about the cars because they're a lot more reliable.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So I imagine you're selecting the passenger vehicle asset group and running this report like this.
Yeah.
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 And basically, what you're looking for is notifications about when each of these individual services is actually due for generation, basically. So that's on the generation date or the generation primary meter there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if like you could go into a particular vehicle and turn on a button, just say only on these vehicles, to send an alert. I wasn't sure if there is something like that, or if that's possible coming down the track.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something we could look at. Whether or not you kind of brought it up in the context of this fleet overview report. And look at, it could be something that we could include in this, but we do have to look at like the quantity of data we're dealing with in generating reports like this. So it can be like quite a lot, really. So that'd be definitely a consideration. Something we would potentially look at is whether we can include a new notification type around services. And with these notification types, generally there is the ability, where it's applicable, to only select certain assets that you're getting it from as well. So you can see for this system generated request, where it's that service request generation, you can actually say, I only want it for, these particular assets.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, we'll have a look at that. Thanks for bringing it up.
Eleanor, are you sort of looking for something where you just put an email against an asset that is totally unrelated to a user within the system and they get notified?
Or even whether it's to the operator or to myself, like we've got two vehicles that they're called L2P vehicles, so learners to learn hours, to get their hours up. And these cars aren't really monitored by a particular person. So we've had two that were overdue. So I ran that report that Adam was just talking about, and that's how I came across, these cars are overdue. And because no one is really responsible for these two particular vehicles, no one told me. No one said, oh, no, I've got to book it into the workshop. So it was more, I had to sort of like, yeah. So there's some cars that are like that, and especially with the pool vehicle that we're going to be doing soon, it's going to be the same. Like there won't be no ownership at all.
Right.
So I thought if there was some sort of alert, like an email to myself, or then I can chase up whoever's driving it or the department, then I could, contact them like that.
Could you simply put yourself as a responsible person on those assets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the best way, Adam or Paul?
Well, the notifications go to the subscription on the account. So if you want a notification, it's probably best to do that there. We could put extra information in this asset services due in terms of things like vehicle description. So you might be able to, there's a method called asset tags. So you can create a tag that says L to P, and we could list the tags so you can sort of see those quite easily in the reports. When designing these reports, it's kind of difficult to know what people want to see. So we generally take a snapshot of relevant information, but that might not be relevant to everybody. So feedback on that sort of stuff is always welcome.
So I'm just looking at this while Paul's talking, and I've just set up a new tag for myself, and this is where you can like link tags on the asset, for example. So that's something we could use potentially to group those notifications together. I think I agree, Paul. I think it makes sense to continue driving pretty much most of the notifications from the account. It seems to be the most customizable way. But also like the most consistent for individuals who want to know what notifications they're going to get. There's one place where they can see that basically.
Yeah, there has been in the past sort of workshop notifications where you filled your email out on the workshop and various places, and I've tried to get rid of those and consolidate it into this notification section here, so that sometimes if you get a notification, you know where to go and turn it off, basically.
Yeah.
If they're spread everywhere, it's really difficult to figure out where it came from. So.
And if you're in the situation where there is like a common workshop email address, you can actually add notifications to your account, but change the email address, for example. So I could make it workshop@formbird.com instead of adam.gristwood, and then it can go to that central email address as well. You can see here that there's also the ability to deactivate it and also set it up so that it only you only get those notifications of the particular type for a certain period of time, like if you're backfilling Marie's job or something like that. Anyway, I think we've got good information on what's kind of needed there, so that was really helpful. Thanks, Eleanor. I'll just find my way back to my fleet overview report. So this is a table of all of your requests in the last 7 days that have been created, and you can see it's categorizing into the type of request, so whether it's a repair request, asset verification, daily driver, service request, and you can see also it's categorizing by status as well. So you can see these red ones here are open, and the purple one, for example, is pending service requests. Same deal with work orders. You've got the different types, so asset verification work orders, PM service, risk assessment, repair work orders, body and tray repair type, post-hire inspection and pre-hire inspection. For when you're hiring in assets from externally, you can set up pre-hire inspections and post-hire inspections as a repair type on your repair work order. And you can see accessories there as well. You can actually click on these statuses and remove certain ones. So if you don't want to see what's being already completed, you're not interested in that, you can actually remove that, and you can see that the graph updates to reflect that information. Then we've got our time recorders, and so that's time recorders total cost per workshop. Obviously, if you've only got one workshop, only one is going to show up here. And that gives you, so that's your total cost of all your time recorders in the last week. That's your total time recorder hours in the last week, and that's your total time recorders count, so individual time recorder records, if you like, in the last week there. We've got fuel, and now the fuel is financial year to date, so it's looking from the 1st of July 2024 up to now, and you can see it's giving us the total consumption in litres from fuel receipts, and so that's gives us 14,631 total litres. You can see that that's breaking it down below into the individual types, so you can see how much E10 you're buying, how much diesel you're buying, how much unleaded you're buying, unleaded premium you're buying. You got your total cost for the financial year and your total CO2 emissions in kilograms for the financial year to date, and you've got the total vehicle count that's been captured within those fuel receipts. If you click on this little refresh button or recycle button, you can actually change what is displayed in the graphs. So, for example, if I go back up to here to work order types, you can see that it's changing the graph to a table of what's included in that report. Obviously, then you can copy it out if you wanted to into a spreadsheet. That's your fuel. So this is an overview of your workshops. Obviously, again, if you've only got one workshop, you'll only have one workshop here. But you can see this is giving you all of your overdue requests at the moment, all of your incomplete requests, all of your overdue work orders and incomplete work orders. And if you want to dive into any of this detail, you can simply select on the graph there, and it brings up the data that's actually being captured there. So we can see for Brimbank Workshop, we've got 2 repair requests which are open, for example. So you can dive right in there and see what this repair request is about. You can see who's reported it. You can see where its work orders are up to. So there haven't been any work orders created here. So maybe it's fallen through the cracks or something like that. But it allows you to really drill down into the information and see what's going on and what's making up these graphs. An overview of your assets. So overview of your safety items that are outstanding. So you can see we've got here registration overdue, services overdue, non-urgent and urgent daily drivers, police permit overdue, and an asset tagged out. If something, registration's overdue, that it just is an issue with it not being bulk updated in the system, for example, you could remove the registrations overdue and just see that breakdown of all of the other ones there. You've got your asset tags. So that's what I was showing you before on that asset was all of the different asset tags, and it just breaks down how many assets have each tag. You've got your asset status, so where it's at in its life cycle, whether it's commission, active, awaiting disposal, decommission. You've got your breakdown of assets per department, so you can see exactly which assets have how many, which departments have how many assets, and which sections have how many assets, and what that count represents as a percentage of the total fleet. You've got how many assets are in which location. You can see I've got 7 assets at my main office location and 4 assets at my depot, for example. Again, you can click into that and see what data is actually, what assets are actually making up that number.
How is that information triggered, Adam?
So that's configured on each individual asset. So like, for example, if I go into this one here, on the asset, you can see here that I've got a location on the asset.
Right.
But this is also what we use in the booking system to group assets together. So the primary way that the assets are grouped together on the booking system is actually by their location, because that's like probably the primary thing that someone wants to know when they're looking to book an asset is where actually is it. There's no point booking an asset that's over at the depot if you're situated at the main office. All right, where was I? Up here. And then so now you've got your breakdown of your whole fleet in terms of total purchase cost, current value, replacement budget, and the total count of your assets as well. You can see that you've got this broken down into each asset group here, so you can see exactly how many assets are in each group, what the value of all of those assets are, what their replacement budget is. And you can also see your hire assets here. So assets that you've got hired in at the moment from external suppliers. You can see what groups they fall into and how much the hire costed. So we also have a view of this same report on the individual asset. So if I go back to my homepage and find an asset to look at, I'll go to 2496, jump in there. Then within your overlay links here, one of the options is the summary. So this gives you a summary of this particular asset. So you can see here, I've got it set to run whole of life. I can choose to source expenses from your general expenses instead of the other documents within Formbird. And you can choose your income source as well. So you can see here, this is a breakdown of this asset and its total costs. And income as well. So you can see that's all broken down there. It's presented on a graph as well. Then you can see that breakdown, similar kind of thing. You can see where all of your asset expenses are coming from, where all your asset income's coming from, a count of all of those things. Your fuel economy in the last month. And then you've got your recent activity for this particular asset. So this is down at the asset level now. You can see how many daily drives it's had in the last 7 days, how many risk items, how many requests it's had in the last 7 days, all of your time recorders for the last 7 days. You've got your fuel, so your total used for this particular asset in the financial year, and the total cost as well, and the total CO2. And then your breakdown of your workshops relating to this asset as well. Any questions about that? No, all good. Eleanor, is there anything else in particular you'd like to see today?
No. When is that going to be up?
That's actually already in your production environments.
Okay.
So you should be able to look at it now.
Okay, cool. And I can configure it to what I want to see.
What do you mean?
Like, is that like just a general format, or is it like something that you add, like you want to see certain things?
It's a general format. So this populates. It's a standard format of how this is all presented. Obviously, the data that you have and the way that Brimbank is set up has influence on kind of what's captured here, but it's a standard format.
Yeah, no, I like it.
And just a comment on that report though, Adam. It's compiled information, so it runs a nightly compilation for it. So if the data changes throughout the day, it will be changed the following day.
Is that the whole every graph in the report or every section area?
I think it's the fuel.
Yeah, certainly. I was playing around with it, surprise, before this meeting, and when I was creating requests and work orders and that type of thing, it was immediate that it was captured in this report as soon as I reloaded the page. But that makes sense if it's that the fuel is only updated on a nightly basis, because obviously there's quite a lot of fuel data over a financial year. That's a lot of fuel transactions that the report would have to capture, and it probably wouldn't load very quickly.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get it to process as fast. So I went with a overnight update.
That makes sense. Probably reasonably good for fuel transactions anyway, because they tend to only happen on a or get imported into the system on a weekly or monthly basis. Yeah. Any other questions from the floor? Doesn't sound like it.
Well, why don't you ask? I was going to actually say, so just how would Eleanor actually just do that? Set it up, just to get it going.
She could just log straight into her environment basically and click on the overview report button, and that should take you there. Eleanor, if you have a look at it later and you have any feedback for us or anything like that, please do email it through or call me or whatever it is. We're definitely interested in feedback. It's been in there a little while, but I kind of think that maybe it hasn't. People haven't kind of become aware of it. By the sounds of it, you didn't know it was there, so it seems like it was good that we've covered it today.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Paul Hosking, anything else on our agenda today?
Oh, look, that's probably it. Except I'd really love to hear from people if they've got a topic that they would like to cover for an upcoming meetup or for the next one, which we'll ask Ian when that's going to be. He's the timekeeper. But thank you, everybody. So we can keep it short and sweet for today. But Eleanor, is there something that you? I mean, you're the star of the show today, apart from Adam, of course. But so, is there something that you might have in the future, or that you just on? I mean, sometimes it's actually quite good to rehash stuff that is something you sort of thought, oh, why can't we do that, or why aren't we doing that? Yeah. And it probably is already a function. So
it's funny you say that. Well, sorry, it's funny you say that, because I think last week I was talking to Marie about something and I was like, oh, I wonder if it can do that. But now that you put me on a spot, I can't remember what it was. So
the discussion about barcodes, Eleanor?
Sorry?
Was that the discussion about barcodes that we had the other week?
Yeah, no, it wasn't about barcodes. It was something else. But I can't think of it. So, but I will try and remember it, and I'll email Paul, and then maybe we can let you know, Paul, and we can put in the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The other week, Marie and Ellen and I met about. It started off with Marie asking about barcodes. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eleanor, about any of this. And we don't have barcodes as such. Obviously, barcodes require specialized technology to scan them. But what we do already have in the system is the ability to generate QR codes for assets. So that's actually on your assets in your production environment. Now you can generate a QR code and print that off and stick it on your asset, so then it can be scanned. Part of that discussion was around doing auditing or asset verification inspections. So Paul's been doing a little bit of work since we had that meeting around making it easier to scan the asset's QR code and get it to autofill the asset verification work order for that particular asset. That's it, kind of captures it in a sentence, right, Paul?
Yep.
So that'll be part of the next release, those changes. David Tuttleby, I just saw you're in the meeting today. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Yeah, I was just going to ask a question, actually, around the QR code. If you put one on the windscreen of the vehicle, would you be able to do a pre-start?
That's a good question. At the moment, the QR code basically generates a URL for the asset, so it takes you directly to the asset. So as long as the user has access to the asset, which I'm pretty sure operators now do have access, like read-only access to an asset. I can't quite remember off the top of my head if they can generate requests from there, but certainly that's a possibility. Stuff that we've been doing around the asset verification inspections has basically been that when you open up a new asset verification work order, you can get your phone and scan the QR code that's on printed out and stuck on the asset, and it will auto-populate the asset onto that work order, and auto-populate that it's been verified, basically, because it's basically saying you've seen the asset, so it kind of pre-fills all of that, and then you can click the save button basically, and then the record's done. So kind of make the process a little bit more streamlined.
Right. Yeah. And I was thinking of not so much the operators that are allocated a piece of plant or a car, but for example, pool cars. An example, we just got 6 new pool cars. They're all white. They're all Toyota Yaris, and they've all got the same registration number except for the last digit. It's like you walk out there and you go, which car is it? Oh, here it is. Is it, 412? Is it 65 or whatever? And you could just scan it and click asset verification or daily driver check, and then you put it in just to make it easier to do business. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's a good
I
thought,
think
David.
they also have very similar asset IDs as well. They're all bought at the same time.
They're different asset IDs, but when you walk out to our civic centre, there's 5 cars in a row, all the same alphanumeric character except for the last letter of the registration number, and they're all white. It's like, which one? I just got to click the button and see which one opens. So we actually color-coded key tags, and there's a group wanting to name the vehicles, so they have it printed on the front and back windscreen, so you can identify them a little bit easier because they're so similar. But if also for operators that don't drive the same equipment, scanning through or trying to search for a vehicle to do the daily driver check, I thought a QR code may be of a benefit.
Yeah, Paul, you were going to say something. I spoke over you then. Apologies.
I just had a suggestion.
I think it's
Paul.
Sorry, I should have specified. Paul Arkell, I spoke over you.
that's all right. I think that's a great idea, David. We'll get that working. Yeah.
My suggestion was just to wait until you get a few dents in them, then you can tell them easily.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well,
That's more
I've got
makeshift.
the date of the next meeting, which is Thursday, the 7th of August.
August, our midwinter meetup. So
Feels like midwinter here at the moment. Thank you very much.
oh, just for you, I mean, But I can see Maria there. She did turn up. So okay. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming. Now, again, I will make one more call. If you've got a topic, please let us know. And even if you're watching this recording and you've got a topic, because we do get a lot of people watching the recording, and on our extremely popular YouTube channel, which, give us a like, a thumbs up or whatever, and increase the popularity. No, it's just for fun. I'm just joking, but that'd be good. That'd be good. So there's Paul laughing at me. Okay, everybody, thank you for coming, and we will see you in August. I will be packaging up the video and getting it out with an email, and you can sometime next week, I think. So until then, keep on trucking, and I know I've already said that one, haven't I? But anyway, so this has been the Formbird Fleet community, and I'm signing out, and thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ben, David, Chris, Eleanor, Andrew.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, gents. Bye.